The private reserve at Fredberg is a popular place with tourists. Most of them come here to get away from the city and to spend some time in some very pleasant forested surroundings. I particularly enjoyed the really good self-service food. These Dutch medical students are taking a welcome break after finishing their studies.
We can take one if you want.
The guy sweeping the floors is Fred Brown. He set all this up. Despite being the boss, he so hates sitting around doing nothing that he picked up the broom. He's a famous bird guide, and he's also the reason for my visit. It was Fred who discovered the spectacular Cock of the Rock here at Fredberg. And it's to film the Cock of the Rock that I've come to this beautiful area. I'm following my guide Pineapple through the forest. We're heading for the Cock of the Rock Lekking Arena. When we got there, a male was already in residence, so we didn't have to wait around. He was perching in the low trees, looking around here and there for any sign that a female was going to show up. Now and again he would switch to a different tree. There clearly weren't any females around because he spent nearly 20 minutes sitting in this particular position. But his head was always actively scanning his surroundings. Finally he must have spotted something because he dropped down onto the bare ground of the Lekking Arena. It's here that the so-called dance takes place. But it's not really much of a dance, just really the occasional hop. Designed to change positions and thereby present a slightly different view of his gorgeous self to any nearby females who are watching. Because he's in full display mode, the crest on his head is fully raised. In this position it completely covers his beak, which is why he appears not to have one. At this point the weather was still fairly sunny, but there was no sign that any females were sufficiently impressed to come in any closer. I'd been forewarned that in the event of wet weather nothing would take place. So my heart sank when I heard the first sound of raindrops hitting the ground. But as the rain gathered force, he obviously spotted something and bowed down close to the ground. Seconds later, the drab black female finally arrived. Alas, she turned out to be far more timid than the male. As she positioned herself behind the male ready for mating, she saw my hand move slightly and immediately flew off. I thought that was that, but my luck was in, and 2 minutes later she returned. By now the rain was so bad that the male was shaking the drops off his head. In the end he'd had enough and gave up. But he didn't leave the area. By now we'd heard 2 other males calling nearby. Despite the rain and the growing darkness, they'd flown in to try their luck at the lek.